Introduction. William Shakespeare is a name that almost everyone knows, whether they've read his works or not. Often called the Bard of Avon, Shakespeare is one of the most famous writers in history. His plays and poems have been performed, studied, and admired for centuries. But what makes Shakespeare so special? The writing style of Shakespeare combines creativity, intelligence, and emotion in ways that few writers have ever matched. He had a way of using language to express complex ideas, create memorable characters, and tell stories that connect with people on a deep level. Whether it's the tragedy of Hamlet, the romance of Romeo and Juliet, or the humor in A Midsummer Night's Dream, his works cover a wide range of emotions and themes. In this blog, we'll explore everything about the writing style of Shakespeare, from his use of language to his ability to create unforgettable characters. But first, let's take a closer look at Shakespeare's life, family, and career to understand the man behind the words. The life, family, and career of William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born on April 23, 1564, in the small town of Stratford-upon-Avon in England. His father, John Shakespeare, was a glovemaker and an alderman, while his mother, Mary Arden, came from a wealthy farming family. Shakespeare was the third of 8 children, though many of his siblings did not survive childhood, a common occurrence in those days. Early life and education. Shakespeare likely attended the local grammar school in Stratford, where he would have studied Latin, classical literature, and rhetoric. While there are no detailed records of his education, it is clear from his works that he was well-read and had a deep understanding of history, mythology, and human behavior. Marriage and family. At the age of 18, Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway, who was 26 at the time. They had 3 children, their first daughter, Susanna, and then twins, Hamnet and Judith. Sadly, Hamnet died at the age of 11, an event that may have influenced Shakespeare's later works, particularly the themes of grief and loss. Career in London. By the late 1580s or early 1590s, Shakespeare moved to London to pursue a career in theatre. He became an actor, playwright, and eventually a shareholder in the Lord Chamberlain's Men, a popular acting company. This group later became the King's Men when they gained the patronage of King James I. Work. Shakespeare wrote 39 plays, 154 sonnets, and several long narrative poems. His works spanned genres, including tragedies like Macbeth, comedies like Twelfth Night, and histories like Henry V. His plays were performed at the famous Globe Theatre, where audiences from all walks of life gathered to watch his masterpieces. Legacy. Shakespeare's career lasted over 2 decades, and his works left an indelible mark on English literature. His ability to capture the human experience with such depth and creativity is why his plays and poems are still widely read, performed, and studied. William Shakespeare's greatest influences. Just like all of us, Shakespeare didn't come up with his amazing plays and poems all by himself. He was inspired by many things. Let's see what some of those key influences were. Ancient stories. Shakespeare studied classic Greek and Roman books. He loved authors like Ovid and Virgil. This helped him write about timeless themes like love, betrayal, and how things change, just like in stories we tell today. Real-life history. Shakespeare wrote plays about real English kings and queens, like Henry IV and Richard III. These plays entertained people and also talked about important things like good leadership and what's right and wrong. Everyday life. Shakespeare was brilliant at understanding how people really feel. His characters, like the jealous Othello and the ambitious Macbeth, feel real because they have the same emotions we all experience. Key insight. Other writers. Shakespeare learned from other talented writers of his time, like Christopher Marlowe and Geoffrey Chaucer. The competition with other playwrights in London pushed him to be even more creative. The Bible. Religion was very important in Shakespeare's time. The Bible influenced many of his plays, like Hamlet, by exploring ideas about sin, forgiveness, and what's morally right.